to this year, you need to see some things with your spirit that you cannot see with your senses. Oh, come on. And the reason this is so important is because if you don't recognize where the enemy is attacking you the most frequently and ask God to give you insight into the places of your greatest vulnerability, you will spend all of your energy this year fighting battles that you could have avoided if you would have learned the lessons of last year. Y'all don't like this part of my sermon. I know, makes you mad when you realize that a lot of the battles that you fought you could have avoided if you had listened to what was on the inside instead of responding to what was on the outside. So I want to spend this year with what Paul called open eyes in my heart. It sounds grotesque when you describe it like that, but he was saying that there is a kind of sight that does not revolve around external stimuli, and it is more based on internal processing. If I could break it down even more for you, I would use this phrase, on his guard in such places, to describe how I think God intends to protect you as you go into this next season, this next decade of your life. And that requires self-awareness. There's a theological term, progressive revelation. It means that while God never changes, our understanding of him unfolds over time. Not necessarily chronologically, but as we experience different things in our life, we come to see God in different ways. Even the Bible is constructed with the progressive revelation in mind, so that you see concepts introduced in the book of Genesis that are mirrored in the book of Revelation. That's the first and the last. And by the time you get to Revelation, you get a full picture of what was hinted at in Genesis. So you see types and shadows in the Old Testament which ultimately point to Jesus Christ. But they're pointing to something that you have not clearly seen yet. Life is this way. It is that many of us in this season of our life are going to see things that we only saw a shadow of in a previous season of our life. Progressive revelation means that God wants to show you some things about himself and even about you that will cause you to be able to avoid what I call unnecessary roughness. It's a football term, but it also applies when we're going up against the devil. And let me help you with something real quick. Some of the battles that you fought last year were in places that you never should have been. Oh, well, I know it's supposed to be a praise party, but before we party, can I preach for a moment? I got 24 minutes to tell you about this, that there are certain places that you need to stay away from this year. Because if you go there and then ask God to protect you in those places, I don't know whether to start with Facebook or whether to start with CNN or whether to start with Fox News. But we have to be very careful about where we go. Watch this, not just with our bodies, but with our minds, because it is very possible that God is trying to warn you about certain places that every time you go there, you start feeling judgmental, or every time you go there, you start having comparison, or every time you go there, you start feeling like your life is missing something. And if I were you, I would put that Bible app on the front screen of my iPhone this year. For those of you who aren't saved yet, you might have an Android, but you could put the Bible app on there too. And I would find that thing that deletes some of the other apps. And can we all just make a covenantal agreement in the presence of God on this, the last sermon of 2019? Let's all not post our workouts until we have been doing them consistently for at least 4 weeks this year. Then we do that. Now, look at somebody and say, I don't have to post it to prove it. Because if I do the work, you will notice the results of it. I will have to screenshot my sweat on the floor. Nobody wants to see your spandex. Thank you very much. Do a rep in the secret place. We'll know. And it's really interesting how certain places bring me into vulnerability. And I just want to ask the question, have you lived long enough to know yet where you're most vulnerable? There were certain places where the enemy intended to attack But because the king had somebody on the inside, wouldn't it be nice to have somebody on the inside that could tell you, like it can tell you where there's traffic, and it can show you on the GPS where there's going to be traffic? Wouldn't it be nice to have somebody on the inside? Elisha was on the inside, and he was feeding information to the king saying, don't go there. Wouldn't it be nice to have somebody on the inside? Wouldn't it be cool if you didn't have to go into this year alone, but you could have somebody on the inside? Wouldn't it be awesome if when Jesus Christ went to heaven, he sent down his Spirit to live in those who would believe in his name? Wouldn't it be awesome if you had somebody on the inside, the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of righteousness, the Spirit of God, telling you, don't go there, don't think that, don't complete that, cut off that conversation, don't give them all that information. Here's the beautiful thing about it. God will show you where to be on your guard if you will give him the opportunity. Even this, God will even show you what days of the week you are more susceptible to discouragement so you can plan around it. Wow, y'all don't believe in God? You don't think he's in you? You don't think God can show you about yourself? What he knows from the inside up? You don't think the one who created you, well, knows how to counsel you? And yet we all the time, we go into states of discouragement, and then we try to pray our way out of them. But we got discouraged because of a mental game that we play, and no cliches can rescue us. So, new year, new you. Because if we told the truth, it doesn't sound as cute, right? What really has to happen for you to change is that Romans 12 says you have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay? So that means that you have to do things a different way for a long time until the pathways that were in your mind, called neural pathways, that were causing you to do the things that you don't want to do anymore. Whether that's an addiction to pornography, or whether that's an addiction to a substance, or whether that's an addiction to food, or whether that's an addiction to gossip, or whether that's a addiction to judging people who struggle with pornography, food, or substances, because I can preach to everybody in the room. I'll tell you, Pastor Steve, I don't struggle with these sins that you mention. It's actually great because I'm starting this new year with a pretty clean slate. I'll tell you, I've been walking with the Lord for a long time, and I don't really have any of these struggles except the one with self-righteousness that I am expressing by saying that I don't need anything new from God this year. But to really have new year, new year, new you, doesn't really work like that. New year, new neural pathways. See, it doesn't preach as good. Who's gonna put that on Instagram? But the fact of the matter is, for God to do something new in your life this year, you will have to save your strength for the things that matter. And that means you are going to have to listen to the Spirit of God. And the Spirit of God will tell you, don't return that phone call. Don't return that text. Don't even go there. You'll start thinking something in your mind, and the Spirit of the Lord will show you, you can't afford to play with that. You can't play around with the devil and then ask God to deliver you from the devil that you were playing with. There are some places you cannot afford to go this year. Your soul cannot afford it. Your joy cannot afford it. Your peace cannot afford it. And I've got somebody on the inside that can show me where the attack is. Bonnie, wouldn't it be cool if some of the battles that you fought last year, you could avoid this year? Yeah. So you'd be singing, "This is how I fight my battles." And you're just sitting there, and they're expecting you to be swinging, but you're not fighting your battles by swinging. You're fighting your battles by staying away from the places. I know this is heavy for a party, but I gotta preach it, because God will not strengthen you for a battle that He did not call you to fight. So you've got to let go this year of the need to prove things to people, because that is not a battle God has called you to fight. You've got to let go this year of trying to up for things that are in the past and that God has already forgiven. That is not a battle God has called you to fight. It is over, it is gone, the old is gone, the new is come. You have got to ask the Spirit of God what areas to avoid in this year. Okay, so Elisha is giving the information for the military attack. And I wonder if the Spirit of God is trying to give you information for the spiritual attacks that you're under. Come on. But you keep going to old places. And when he found out about it, not only was he mad, but he was determined to get rid of this guy. Because Elisha was a problem. Elisha was a problem. Are you a problem for the enemy? I'm gonna tell you how you can know if you are. If nothing ever goes wrong in your life, and you never burn the toast, if everything is so nice and neat and orderly, and you never face any kind of resistance, it means that the devil isn't threatened by you at all. And here's how I know that from the text, because, again, we often perceive that the presence of God is proven by the absence of problems, right? Wrong. Couldn't be more untrue. Because when Elisha was giving the word of the Lord to prevent the attack for the people of God, watch what the king did in verse 13. Go find out where he is. The moment that you begin to fulfill the purpose God created you for, the enemy will dispatch special forces. Raise your hand if you had some things happen this year that made you question if God even loved you. Raise your hand. Be honest enough to raise it. I suggest to you, keep it up. I suggest to you that the reason you had some of your problems is because you are such a problem for the darkness because of the light that you carry. Somebody shout, I'm a problem. So let me tell you how you can prove that God is with you. The way that you can prove that God is with you is not by the fact that nothing bad ever happens to you. The proof, my mom used to say, the proof is in the pudding. Well, I found out when it comes to the things of God, the proof is in the problem. How do I know that God is using me and that he has great plans for me? How do I know that God has put a big calling on my life? How do I know that God has something outstanding for my future? I know the size of my calling by the size of my problem.
Y'all shout if you've been through something this year.
When Elisha started telling the king where to look for the attack, the king of Aram said, you gotta find him. He's a problem. The enemy set special forces for you this year because you are right on the verge of breaking a generational curse and changing a bloodline. You're a problem for the darkness. You're a problem for... Hey, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a single video or live stream. And share this video with a friend. And don't forget, you can join me live every Sunday. Thanks again for watching. But it's hard to let go of what you've been holding on to for so long. Even if it's not working anymore. It's really hard to let go, but this is how we're used to East going, no, I beg you, see it differently. I beg you to let go. It's not normal. It's just old. Come on, sir. Well, say that. It's just old. That's just because you're used to it doesn't make it normal. Great. So after he gets done telling them that there's a new way, somebody say there's a new way, a new way, a new way. That's what he opened by his blood. That's what he opened on the cross. That's what he opened along with his tomb. He opened a new and living way so that you could be, watch this, a living sacrifice. How does that even work? In order for something to be sacrificed, it has to die, right? Well, the old way has to die for the new way to come alive. And that's what Paul is preaching in Romans. And then comes the verse that I really want us to sit with for a moment. In Romans 12, verse 2, Paul gives a didactic or a teaching or a lesson in letting go. He says, if you are going to hold on to the old way of doing it, and I don't know what that's going to mean to you after I get done preaching this, you will have to reflect on that. I don't know if it's the way you communicate. I don't know if it's something in this season that it actually quit working a long time ago. Man, we have like 3 clocks hanging around our house that haven't told time in years. I don't know why they're still hanging there. It's probably more trouble to take them down. So we rather have something that doesn't work on the wall than take 5 minutes and bring it down. What, sir? And a lot of us are stuck in something that is old. We froze at a point in time where it's like, okay, this is what I have to do. And for those of us who are used to doing it a certain way, when God brings us a new blessing, it looks like a threat. Yes. And we can't receive it because of what we can't release. I feel anointed like I'm 17 years old preaching my first sermon. I love the word because he said, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer yourself living sacrifice. This is your proper and true act of worship. So, verse 2 in that context says, do not conform, write that word down, conform to the pattern of this world. Yeah. But be transformed. LB, don't push me. I don't want to preach right now. I want to teach. Be transformed. Transform. Yes. Now, you don't need me to do this for you, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to write both of those words on a flashcard. Come on, we're homeschooling. Graham, present. Abby, present. Holly, present. If you hear say present, come on. Present. Come on, class is in session. Say it in the chat. Present. I'm here for it. All right, I'm going to write this down. Last week, y'all were making fun of my handwriting. Somebody said that my R in the word normal looked like a 12, and you're exactly right. The question is, did I do it on purpose to illustrate the 12 tribes of Israel? I guess you'll never know. It's just two ways of looking at it. One is conform and one is transform. I just wanted to write them down. Yeah, please get past my calligraphy and get the point, okay? This is the right way. This is the wrong way. And what makes it right and wrong is, this one, conform, is the way the world works from the outside in. This one, transform, is the way God works from the inside out. Okay, well, and here's how the Lord was showing me the other day. He said, in this season, remember there's a lesson in letting go. In this season, I am teaching you to learn to set your agenda from within, to be guided by the Holy Spirit, to let me fulfill my purpose for your life, now that your plans have been interrupted. This is really hard, because one of the things we're having such a difficulty with right now is we haven't even had the funeral for what we expected this year to be. And now you got a preacher up here talking about having faith for what's going to happen next. And this causes me to really sympathize with the Israelites, you know? They were leaving Egypt and they had to rush out in the middle of the night. They had to leave so quickly. They never got to say goodbye. You're like, well, they didn't want to say goodbye. Of course they did. Even though it was killing them, it was what they knew. Yes. So what we're dealing with right now is a lot of us, our plans got canceled and we didn't even get to say goodbye. Even if it isn't really what we wanted, it's what we knew. Say it. And when you don't get to say goodbye, you don't get closure. So now I'm living in this space where I thought I was gonna get to walk down the aisle with my daughter and marry her this year, not you, and come somebody else. I thought I was gonna get to go, be at my graduation. I had some momentum in my business. I was working on this deal. I was working on that thing. I was actually getting my act together. I had this and that and the other, and no sooner did the year start until you had to bury it and trust God with it. And we didn't even get to say goodbye. Help us, sir. How? Right there. So, how? This is a challenge of letting go. Letting go of something when you don't even know what you're reaching for yet. But last, help us. If you ask me to let go of broccoli for briars, I can do it. Right? Because I like what I'm grabbing more than what I'm letting go of. But what if it's a mystery box? I don't know about this yet. I don't know. You're talking about a new normal. I don't know about that. Now, we all have moments of both. We all have moments where we're like, man, this is actually kind of nice. Everything got canceled is kind of nice. I kind of needed to get a break, man. Now it's like a forced break on all of humanity. It's like a global snow day. Unless you're sick, or someone you love is sick, or unless something dries up that you were depending on, or unless it might. So we're going back and forth, just like, I want to get back to normal, but I kind of want to go into something new. It's like, man, I can't wait for everything to get started back again, but it is kind of nice having meals with my family. Yeah, I wasn't doing that before. It kind of needs some job stability. But you know what? I've been wondering if I really even want to work there anyway. Well, I don't know which one. Yeah, I'm trying to find my balance in between them. The lesson of letting go is not only that external events cause us to let go. The way God changes us is transformation. Yes, from the inside out, right? Isn't that really relevant while you're stuck inside? Yeah, I flipped it. That's the way God changes things. The way the world works, from the outside in. Oh no, what's the job market doing? What's the economy doing? When are they going to lift this and when are they going to lift that? Right there. The way God does it is like you got Paul and you got Silas, and they are stuck in an inner cell. But when they are stuck in a tight space, it's the moment that they understand we've got to give God the greatest praise in the tightest space. This is a time for more faith, more hope, more optimism. Your anchor has really got to grab hold right now, because you don't know what's next. Ooh. And that's where God lives, in the mystery. Yeah. And yet, our old mind, our conformed mind, this is the way it's supposed to work. Is it possible that God is trying to get you to unlearn the way the world works? Oh, right there. So good. So you can see how he works. What does God want me to unlearn? I can't handle it anymore. Sure you can. If you loosen your grip, if you believe that he's with you no matter what the next season looks like, you could bench press. How much do you bench, Chris? 305. You could bench press 395. Only you could lift it if you weren't gripping it so tight. You could lift it right there. You could lift it if you weren't gripping it like this. He said it's your grip that's hurting you, not the weights. You're actually strong enough. Christ is actually in you. You actually have a new nature. Now you just need a new normal. Why, wonderful. Wow, wonderful. You have a new heart. Yes, you just need new habits. Freet back, sir. What's in front of you is greater. You just gotta let go. Some things that you good, and I don't want to do it either. I like what I know. That's why I know I'm eating hamburger, steak, and green beans from Cracker Barrel, because that's all I ever eat. I don't even have to ask what she ordered me. I like what I know. God, do a new thing, but make it just like what I've known before. Oh, yeah. Ooh. And so when we get knocked off our balance, that's from the inside. That's how God transforms us. He destabilizes the outside in order to strengthen the core. Wow, so good. That's what he's doing in my life right now. He's teaching me to release. If you would just do it physically, you could feel what I'm saying. Get the tightest grip you can right now, right there. I mean, to the point where you feel your blood in your toes cutting off because everything in you is constricted. And that's how your soul feels right now. This is how your mind is. You're closed-minded. Oh, keep the tight grip now. This is an illustrated point. What do you call it when you teach things by showing them? An object lesson. It's an object lesson. Grip it so tight you feel like you can't take it anymore. And that's what's going to happen when you look around at what you have left instead of dwelling on what you've lost. So good. Great. Release. What do you want me to release? Pastor Stephen, not the steering wheel. Don't release that. Just release your need to know. And once you release that, look how much strength you have. Look how much praise you have. Come on, do it right there. I wish somebody would start pressing something right now. Forgetting what is behind and straining toward what's ahead. It's not going to be easy. Freedom is not easy. He told Moses it wouldn't be easy. Come on, right? He told him it's not going to be easy. When all you've known is bondage, blessings seem strange. From on. When all we've known is busy. Rest feels like something to be resisted. When all we've known is worshiping idols, worshiping the true and living God who lives within, feels foreign. But God said you have the strength that you need if you will release what you can't cure, what you can't control. That's what he's teaching me.